All right, in a matter of hours, the Senate could vote to break a filibuster on Kash Patel's nomination to serve as director of the FBI. If that vote passes, the confirmation vote could happen as early as this afternoon. But some key GOP swing votes staying pretty quiet at this point. Democratic Senator from Rhode Island, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, is joining us now. Thank you for being here this morning. Appreciate your time. If Patel is indeed confirmed as director of the FBI, what will that mean for America in your view?
Well, the first thing it'll mean is that Republican senators who voted for him will own it. Because if he is as vindictive as his past shows he will be, if he has the foreign entanglements that his records show he has, and that comes back to haunt them, they will have known this. This will have been on the record. He is a very dangerous individual for the FBI, both because of his vindictiveness and the foreign entanglements, but also because of his intentions for the FBI to do damage, for instance, to the Washington office where the counterintelligence and counter-Russia operations take place. I think what we're looking at, and you saw it in the last clip on your show about the Trump-Russia coordination, I think Patel will be an eager participant in the Trump-Russia schemes.
Donald Trump seems to be cozying up to Russia. He is lashing out at Ukraine and at Europe. I mean, what do you think is happening here? Is this just bluster, or do you think there is something really going on behind the scenes as well?
Well, you gotta, go back a ways. Trump-Russia has always been a thing. Russia helped him get elected the first time. The Mueller report, the bipartisan Senate intelligence report, multiple court trials all showed the connections between Russia and Trump, and that has persisted. Russia helped him get elected this second time, and he is now tightly entwined with Putin, spouting Putin talking points. What is the underlying rationale? What has Putin got on him? What is the promise or the threat that is driving this behavior? That is what we don't know, but the behavior is obviously indisputable.
The polling would suggest, though, it was the economy and immigration that got Trump elected this time around. And I want to talk about the economy and about the government and what's happening there. The Congress is really closing in on an important deadline. That is the potential of shutting down the government. A vote is scheduled on the Senate GOP's budget plan, which would divide Trump's priorities into two plans, although he has asked for, as he put it, one big, beautiful plan. But Trump came out today and endorsed the House's plan. Is there any of those plans that Democrats can agree to?
Well, no, particularly in this reconciliation mode, when the Republicans are using this mode in which they can jam whatever they want through the Senate with the simple majority that they have, and of course through the House with the majority that they have, it is on them. They control all the levers. There is nothing that Democrats can do about reconciliation. So they have to figure out their way through this, and they own the consequences when they cannot. And if they completely fail, then they have to come to Democrats. But if they do, then we get to have our own say, and they don't get to just roll us while they need Democrat votes.
Trump declared that he saved New York after announcing the reversal of congestion pricing through the Department of Transportation. And he put something online saying, "Long live the king," and then put an image of himself with the king's crown on his head. Do you think he's just trolling Americans, or is there truth in jest here?
Yeah, I trolled back and said, does this make him a royal pain in the ass?
Well, that is a way to respond to it. That is one way, sir. Let me ask you, let me try not to laugh here. Okay, it was funny. Let me ask you about Democrats. Are Democrats lost in the sauce here? Donald Trump is sucking up, obviously, as the president, all of the attention. He is making quick moves. He is, letting DOJ do its deeds inside of many different departments. What are Democrats doing?
Well, I would analogize this to a smash and grab robbery, all done for the benefit of providing tax breaks to billionaires at the end of the day, but in its tactics right now, essentially a smash and grab robbery. And speed is to your advantage when you're the smash and grab robber. And doing as much destruction as you can quickly is to your advantage when you're the smash and grab robber. But over time, courts will look at this, evidence will mount, he will need things from Congress, and the situation will change. I think it's particularly important to watch the courts where he is losing case after case after case after case for the very precise reason that what he is doing is illegal.
He has won, though, letting DOJ get all that data from several different agencies where some people are resigning over it. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, thank you so much.
That's kind of a data theft. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and expressing your very strong opinions this morning. We appreciate it. Kate?